Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we are tackling those digital assistants that are suddenly everywhere, AI agents.
You're probably hearing a lot about how these AI agents can, control browsers and scrape data and even write like a human.
But what does that really mean? What does it mean for you? Well, get ready because we dug into some research on two very specific agents that are really changing what's possible.
ComputerAgent and ChatLLM.
And as always, we're going to break it all down so you get all the key insights without having to read those dense research papers yourself.
One of the things that really fascinates me about these agents is how they're really breaking free from those simple commands. Like, they're not just following instructions, they're actually interacting with the digital world in a much more sophisticated way.
So less like a chatbot and more like a digital intern, but like with a super brain.
That's a great analogy. Yeah, they can handle like surprisingly complex tasks. Things that, honestly, we never thought AI could do before.
All right, color me intrigued. So let's start with this computer agent. What is it that makes it so special?
Okay, so Computer Agent, it's all about giving AI the power to control a web browser.
Okay.
But there's a really important security feature here. It all happens within a virtual environment, kind of like a secure sandbox.
So it's like its own little digital world where the AI can run wild without like messing with my files.
Exactly. Keeps your actual computer and your files safe. So that should definitely ease your mind a bit.
Okay, that does. But what can it actually do in this virtual space? Like, what are we talking about here?
Think about it like this. You could ask Computer Agent to go out and find a specific product online,
Okay.
and then not only find it, but like compare prices from different websites,
Okay.
and then take all that and generate a report with the findings, all without you doing a single thing.
Wait, so it's not just browsing, it's like analyzing information and like putting together reports. That's pretty amazing.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is the research is showing that the content that it generates is often like indistinguishable from human written text.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one study even found that Computer Agent was able to write an entire blog post that fooled like 80% of human readers.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah,
So, like, I could ask it to write a blog post for me and people would think I wrote it.
potentially yes. And it can even go beyond that. It can even tackle coding tasks.
Wait, coding? You mean like actually writing computer programs?
Absolutely. Imagine you need, let's say, like a simple web tool to, I don't know, maybe track your expenses or something.
Okay.
You can tell Computer Agent to go to a coding platform, tell it the requirements, and then let it generate the code for you.
That's wild. It's like having this AI software developer on call 24/7.
Exactly.
Okay, but this is starting to sound a little too good to be true, right? Like, what's the catch?
Well, with any technology, there are definitely potential risks. Security and privacy are obviously top of mind when you're letting an AI kind of control a browser.
Yeah, of course.
But that's where this whole virtual environment thing comes in. By containing the AI within its own little sandbox, the risks to your personal data are, they're minimized.
So you're saying it's okay to let AI play in its own playground as long as it doesn't, break into my house?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's all about striking that balance between, really using the power of AI, but also making sure that it's being used safely.
That makes sense. Okay, so we've got this computer agent that can browse, analyze, write, and even code. Is there anything else?
Well, what's really amazing is when you look at the research into like future capabilities,
Okay.
they're talking about multimodal agents.
Multimodal.
Agents that can analyze not just text, but images, audio, video.
Oh, wow.
So like imagine you could give an AI a video and you could be like, hey, summarize the key points for me, or create a transcript, or even generate different versions of this video edited for, different audiences.
Okay, now that is straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know.
How close are we to this kind of technology?
It's closer than you might think.
Really?
Companies like, Apple and Meta, they're already investing a ton into developing multimodal AI. I mean, the pace of innovation in this field is incredible.
So what you're saying is that we could be looking at a future where AI is seamlessly interacting with all forms of digital content.
Yeah, not just text.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
It really has the potential to change how we consume and process information. But before we get too carried away with future stuff, let's talk about another fascinating AI agent, ChatLLM.
Okay, ChatLLM, bring it on. What makes this one different from Computer Agent?
Well, instead of controlling a browser, ChatLLM is all about creating specialized AI agents. So for very specific tasks.
So it's like having like a team of AI experts, each with their own like special set of skills.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay.
Like, imagine having an AI agent that just handles all your emails.
Okay.
Another one that summarizes all those news articles.
Okay.
Another one that helps you manage your finances. I mean, The possibilities are endless.
Now you're speaking my language because that sounds amazing. Can you give me like some specific examples of how these specialized AI agents would work in real life? Like how would I actually use that?
Sure. Okay, let's say you're drowning in emails, right?
Oh, tell me about it.
I feel you. So you could create an email agent. Its job would be to read through all your emails, filter out that spam, prioritize the important messages, and even draft responses, like in your own style.
Wait a minute. Hold on, hold on. An AI that could write my emails for me. Sign me up. I am so bad at emails, so that would be a dream come true. What other kinds of agents could you create?
Let's say you're someone who needs to stay up to date on, all the industry news, but you don't have time to read every single article,
Yeah, that's me for sure.
right? So you could create a news agent that basically, scours the web, filters out all the irrelevant stuff, and just gives you concise summaries and those key takeaways.
That would be amazing. I feel like I spend half my life just like trying to figure out what's going on in the world.
I know, right? You're just trying to get that signal out of all the noise.
Exactly, exactly. And the beauty of this is that it would be tailored to what I actually care about.
Exactly. And because these are powered by those really advanced language models, they can handle those complex tasks that require actual understanding, not just like, mindlessly following a script.
Okay, I'm sold. This chat LLM thing sounds incredible, but how does it know which AI brain to use for each task? Like how does it know which one to pick?
Well, the secret sauce is its ability to integrate with multiple large language models. So think of it as like having access to this whole library of different AI brains, each with its own specialties.
So basically, I get to pick and choose which brain is best for the job.
That's right, that's right. It's all about finding that perfect match between what the AI can do and what you need done. And the cool part is you can even like fine-tune the agent's behavior and the output based on your own preferences.
This is getting deep, man. Both of these, Computer Agent and Chat LLM, they just seem to be like pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Where do you see this going in the near future, like in the next 6 months to a year?
It's really hard to say for sure because everything's moving so fast, but I think it's pretty safe to say that these AI agents are only going to get more powerful, more versatile, and more integrated into our lives.
Okay, so even smarter, even more capable AI. That's exciting and a little bit intimidating, to be honest.
It is, it is. It's a lot to wrap your head around. But, the important thing to remember is that we have the power to shape how this technology develops, right? And how it gets used.
So it's not about being afraid of the AI, it's about understanding it and using it responsibly.
Exactly.
Okay, before we go any further, though, I want to kind of bring it back down to earth for a second and talk about some real-world applications. Like, how are these AI agents being used right now to make our lives easier and to be more productive?
Well, one area where AI agents are already making a huge impact is in browser automation. So think about all those repetitive tasks you do online. Filling out forms, downloading files, copying and pasting data. An AI agent can handle all that for you. It can free up so much of your time and mental energy for, the more important stuff.
Dude, that sounds like a dream, especially for someone like me who spends way too much time doing mindless things online. Can you give me like a specific example? How would this actually work?
Sure, let's say you're a freelancer, right? And you need to keep track of all your income and expenses for taxes.
Ugh, yeah.
I know, not the fun part. But you could create an AI agent that automatically logs into your bank account, downloads your transaction history, and then even like categorizes each transaction. So that way, when tax season rolls around, you're not scrambling to get everything organized.
Okay, that would be a lifesaver. I am notorious for putting that stuff off until the very last minute. What other things could you use browser automation for?
Well, another one is lead generation.
Okay.
So sales teams, they often spend hours and hours searching for potential customers.
Yeah.
And an AI agent could automate that whole process,
Really?
identifying prospects, based on certain criteria and compiling all their contact info.
So it's like having a digital assistant who's always working in the background finding those opportunities for me. That's pretty amazing.
It is, and it's not just about saving you time.
Yeah.
It's about eliminating human error. An AI agent will do those tasks with, perfect precision every single time. So, your data is accurate.
Yeah, that's huge when you're dealing with a lot of information. Okay, so browser automation's great. What else can these AI agents do?
Another area where AI agents are really good is data scraping. So basically extracting data from websites. Now, I know that sounds a little bit shady,
Yeah, yeah.
but it can be used for legitimate purposes.
Okay, like what? Like how would you use that ethically?
Well, let's say you're doing market research. So you're about to launch a new product, and you want to understand what customers think of your competitors.
Okay, yeah.
You could go to each of their websites and read all the customers' reviews, but, I mean, who has time for that?
Yeah, that's super time consuming.
Right, and not to mention it's pretty tedious and, maybe even biased. But with an AI agent, You could automate that process. You can go to all those websites, grab the data, and put it all into a nice report for you.
So I can get a real-time view of what people are saying without spending hours and hours online.
Yeah, exactly. And because it's an AI doing the work, the data is objective and unbiased.
That's a huge plus. Okay, so browser automation, data scraping, those are both super impressive. What else can these AI agents do?
Well, one area that's, getting a lot of buzz these days is content creation. AI writing blog posts and articles.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Can AI really write as well as a human?
It might surprise you, but the quality of AI-generated content it's really improving fast.
Wow.
I mean, remember those agents we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
They can create text that sounds so human-like that sometimes it's hard to tell the difference.
Oh, wow. So how would an AI agent actually help with content creation?
Okay, imagine you need to write a blog post on, I don't know, let's say a new marketing trend or something. You could spend hours researching and writing, or you could just have an AI agent do most of that work for you.
Wait, so you're suggesting I just let like a robot write my blog post?
Not exactly. Think of it more like a collaboration. You still give the AI some guidance and input,
Okay.
but it can handle the heavy lifting.
Like what kind of guidance are we talking about here?
Well, you could give the AI an outline,
Okay.
maybe some key talking points,
Okay.
or, even just a list of relevant keywords.
And then it takes that and turns it into an actual blog post.
Yeah, it does the research, gathers all the information, and structures it all into something that's, readable and engaging.
That is wild. So it's like having like an AI writing partner that can help me research, help me overcome writer's block, and even suggest different ways to structure my content.
Exactly, and it's not just for blog posts. I mean, these agents can help with reports, articles, marketing copy, even social media posts.
Okay, now I'm seeing the potential here. It's like having a whole content team at my disposal.
It really is, and it can free you up to, focus on the more strategic parts of content creation, like coming up with catchy headlines and crafting your unique brand voice.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. Okay, what about coding? We talked about computer agent being able to generate code. Can you give us some examples of how that might be useful?
Sure, let's say you're a web developer, and you need to make like a simple contact form for a website. Instead of, coding that from scratch, you could tell an AI agent to generate it for you.
So it's like having like a little coding assistant that handles those boring tasks that nobody wants to do.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, exactly. And it could be a really good learning tool for, new coders. They could look at the AI-generated code and kind of get a feel for, the best practices and different coding styles.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and what's really exciting is that these AI agents, they're not just limited to those simple coding tasks. We're starting to see agents that can generate much more complex code. Things like whole web applications.
Okay, that is impressive. So it's not just about automating those boring tasks anymore. It's about giving developers the tools to create more complex stuff faster and more efficiently.
Exactly. And as the technology keeps getting better, I think we'll just see more and more uses for it in the software world.
Okay, so we've covered browser automation, data scraping, content creation, coding. What else is out there? What other exciting applications are there for these AI agents?
Oh, don't forget about email management. This is where AI agents can really shine.
Yeah.
Imagine an agent that could, go through your inbox, pick out the important emails, even draft responses for you.
Hold on. An AI that could write my emails for me? That sounds a little risky. I don't want to accidentally offend somebody with, a poorly worded AI generated email.
No, it's not about, replacing human interaction altogether.
Okay.
It's about assisting you and streamlining the process. For example, an AI agent could, analyze an email and suggest different responses for you.
So it's like having an AI writing assistant that helps me craft really good emails.
Exactly. And it could also, prioritize your inbox for you so you don't miss those important messages.
Okay, that's pretty appealing because my inbox it's a disaster.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that. And this kind of AI-powered email management could really help reduce stress and make you more productive.
Oh man. So you're telling me I could actually get to inbox zero?
It's possible, yeah, with the right AI agent.
That would be amazing. Okay, what about news aggregation? I know we talked about that a little bit before, but I'd love to hear more about how AI agents can, help me stay up to date on the news without feeling completely overwhelmed.
Well, this is another area where AI agents can really make a difference. They can go out, find relevant news articles, filter out all the noise, and then give you just the important parts, like those concise summaries and key takeaways.
So no more endless scrolling through news feeds or trying to, decipher those really complicated articles.
Yeah, the AI agent does the heavy lifting for you and gives you the information you need in a way that's easy to understand. And you can even tell the agent to focus on certain topics or industries or even, specific publications.
So it's like I could have my own personalized news feed curated by AI. That's pretty cool.
It is, and it can also help you find new sources of information and perspectives that you might not have found on your own.
This is all really fascinating. We've talked about so many different applications from, browser automation and data scraping to content creation and even email management. And I'm really curious to hear more about how this could impact the workforce.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But I think we're going to have to save that for next time.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to dive into that.
But I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about for now. We've explored all these incredible things that AI agents can do. We've talked about all the different applications, and we've even glimpsed into the future of this really transformative technology. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty energized.
Yeah, it's an exciting time, that's for sure.
Okay, that's all for part one of this deep dive. We'll be back after a quick break to explore how AI agents could impact the workforce, and we'll also be diving into some of those philosophical and ethical implications of this technology that's evolving so quickly. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about all those amazing things these AI agents can do already.
Right.
But the really mind-blowing part is how this technology is going to change the future of work.
Yeah, that's what I'm really curious about. I mean, it's easy to imagine these agents just taking over people's jobs, like leading to mass unemployment. Is that a real concern?
It's a valid question for sure, and one that's caused a lot of debate.
Right.
But I think it's more nuanced than just robots are going to steal our jobs.
Okay, so it's not just a simple good or bad situation.
Exactly. The research is showing that, yeah, these AI agents will probably automate a lot of the tasks that humans are doing right now.
Okay.
Like think about data entry or scheduling or basic reporting, those kinds of kind of repetitive jobs.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So what happens to the people in those jobs then?
Well, here's where things get interesting. AI isn't just about replacing humans. It's also about augmenting our capabilities.
Augmenting, meaning it makes us like better at our jobs.
Exactly. So imagine you're, let's say, a marketing manager.
Okay.
Right now, you're probably spending a lot of time, gathering data, analyzing trends, and creating reports.
Yeah, a lot of reports.
But what if an AI agent could just handle all of that for you?
Oh man, that would free up so much of my time. But then what would I do with all that extra time?
Well, you could focus on the higher level stuff, the more strategic stuff, like developing those really creative campaigns, building relationships with clients, mentoring your team.
So instead of being replaced, I actually become more valuable because I can use the AI to do all the grunt work.
Exactly. It's about humans and machines working together,
Right.
each playing to their strengths.
Okay, that's a much more optimistic outlook than just robots taking over. But wouldn't this still require like a lot of retraining and adaptation for people?
Absolutely. This whole transition is going to require us to, really invest in education and skills development. We need to give people the knowledge and tools to really succeed in this new AI-powered workplace.
So it's not just about learning how to use a specific AI agent. It's about developing a whole new set of skills.
Right, like critical making, problem solving, creativity, adaptability. These are the skills that are going to be in really high demand as AI starts taking on more of those routine tasks.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about learning how to code. It's almost like becoming more human.
That's a great way to put it. As AI handles more of that routine work, we'll have the opportunity to really focus on what makes us uniquely human, our creativity, our empathy, our ability to connect with each other.
That's a good point. It's a very hopeful message, but it also brings up some ethical questions. If AI is making decisions that impact people's lives, how do we ensure fairness and accountability?
Yeah, that's a really important question. We need to develop ethical frameworks and guidelines for AI. We need to be sure that these systems are transparent and unbiased and that they're accountable to human oversight.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about like the values that we build into it.
Exactly. We have to be very careful about the kind of future we're creating with AI. It's a really powerful tool,
Yeah.
and it's up to us to use it for good.
Well said. Okay, so we've talked about the impact on jobs and the need for ethics, but what about the bigger picture? How might these AI agents change society as a whole?
I mean, that's a big question, and it's tough to say for sure, but we can make some guesses based on what we're seeing already.
All right, let's speculate. What are some of the potential societal shifts we might see as these agents become more common?
Well, one possibility is a change in how we think about work. If AI can automate a lot of those tasks that define our jobs right now,
Right.
we might need to rethink our definition of work altogether.
That's interesting. So what would replace work as the focus of our lives?
Well, some people are saying that we'll see a rise in leisure and creative pursuits. Imagine like a world where people just have more free time to pursue their passions, to connect with their communities, and just to enjoy life.
That sounds amazing, but is that really realistic? I mean, how would people support themselves if traditional jobs are disappearing?
That's the tricky part. We might see a shift towards new economic models like universal basic income or maybe even a shorter work week.
So like a fundamental shift in how we structure society.
It's possible, yeah, and it brings up a lot of questions about, the role of government, the nature of work, and even like the meaning of life.
Okay, now my head is spinning. These are big questions.
I know it's a lot to think about, but I think these are conversations that we need to be having. The future isn't set in stone. We have the power to shape it. And the more we understand about AI, the better prepared we'll be to make the right choices.
That's a great point. Well, we've talked about the impact on jobs, on ethics, even on society as a whole. But I want to bring it back to our listener for a minute. Like, what does all this mean for them? How can they get ready for this future with AI everywhere?
I think, first of all, just stay informed. Read about AI, try out different AI tools. Stay up to date on what's happening.
So be curious and keep learning.
Exactly. The world of AI is changing so fast, so the people who are willing to learn and adapt, they're going to be in the best position to thrive.
Okay. And what about skills? What specific skills should our listener focus on developing to stay ahead of the curve?
I mean, those skills we were talking about earlier, critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, and adaptability. These are the human skills that machines can't replicate.
So again, it's not just about learning how to code, it's about becoming a more well-rounded, adaptable person.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment with AI tools. The more you use them, the better you'll understand, what they can and can't do.
That's great advice. So embrace curiosity, focus on those human skills, and don't be afraid to try things out. Anything else?
I think the most important thing to remember is that AI is a tool.
Okay.
It's not a replacement for human ingenuity or empathy or connection. Use it wisely and it can really help you do amazing things, but never forget your own humanity.
That's a powerful message. I think we've covered so much ground in this deep dive, but I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this topic.
I agree. There's still so much to explore.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about for now. We've explored how AI agents might impact the workforce. We've talked about the ethical stuff, and we've even thought about the future of society in a world with AI. But before we wrap up, I want to go back to something that really stuck with me during our conversation.
Okay.
It's that idea that AI, while it's super powerful and it's changing everything, it's ultimately a tool that we control.
Right.
And it's up to us to decide how it develops and how it's used. And we have a responsibility to make sure that it's used for good, that it makes our lives better, and that it helps us create a better future for ourselves and for future generations.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really important message.
Yeah.
And one that I hope our listeners will really take to heart.
Me too. Okay, this concludes our deep dive into the world of AI agents. We've explored what they can do, we've talked about how they're being used, and we've even thought about how they might impact the workforce, ethics, and society in general.
It's been a really thought-provoking conversation.
Yeah, it has.
And I hope our listeners have come away with a better understanding of this rapidly changing field and a sense of cautious optimism about the future.
Me too. And to our listeners, I leave you with this final thought. What repetitive task would you hand off to an AI agent? What would you do with all that extra time and energy? I mean, think about it. The possibilities are really endless. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions, and keep learning. We've talked a lot about like the practical stuff, like how to use these AI agents and what they can do. But this whole conversation has really got me thinking about, like the bigger picture. Like, what does it even mean to work, to be human, when machines can do so much?
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's easy to focus on like, the day-to-day uses of AI, but we do need to think about how these changes are going to shape like our whole understanding of what it means to be human.
Right. Like if AI can write blog posts and generate code and even manage our emails, like what's left for us? What makes us different?
That's a question philosophers have been asking for a long time.
I bet.
Some say that AI is going to like free us from all the boring parts of work so we can focus on more meaningful things like, creativity and relationships.
That sounds pretty amazing, like a world where we're not constantly stressed and working all the time. But wouldn't that mean we'd have to like completely change how our society works? I mean, How would we make a living if nobody has a job?
That's the big question. Some people think we might have to move to like a universal basic income or maybe everyone just works fewer hours. Others think that new jobs will pop up that we can't even imagine right now.
It's wild to think about all those possibilities. But, part of me also worries that we might become too dependent on AI. Like, what if we lose some of our own abilities if we just let machines do all the thinking for us?
Yeah, I get that. If we let AI decide everything for us from what we eat to what career we choose, we could end up being, just passive bystanders in our own lives.
Right. It's not just about AI taking our jobs, it's about us staying in control, being able to make our own choices.
Exactly. We have to find that balance. Using AI to make our lives better, but not letting it take over completely.
I think that's a really important point, and it shows why it's so crucial for us to learn about AI and to understand how it works. We can't just ignore it and hope for the best. We need to be part of the conversation about how it's developed and used.
Absolutely. It's time to move past, all the hype and the fear and have real discussions about AI's role in our lives. Like, what values do we want these AI systems to reflect? What kind of future do we want to build? Not just for ourselves, but for everyone.
Those are great questions, and it all comes back to this. AI isn't some mysterious force outside of our control. We're creating it through our choices and through the way we use it.
Right. We have the power to steer AI in the right direction, to use it to benefit humanity.
Well said. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about what AI agents are, what they can do, and how they might change the workforce, ethics, and even like the whole of society.
It's been a fantastic discussion, and I hope our listeners have learned a lot and that they're feeling, excited about the future, even if it's a little uncertain.
Me too. To everyone listening, keep learning about AI, keep asking those tough questions, and don't be afraid to get involved. The future is ours to create. And until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.